Hey everyone, it's Madison from PH Doodling. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. I'm so excited today to share with you my April plan with me. This month I have something a little extra special for you. This month I am doing a collaboration with one of my bujo friends, Brandi. Her and I decided to pick a theme and each do it in our own different styles. The theme we decided on was dogs, which I'm super excited about, and I really enjoyed creating different doodles for this theme. I love to do lots of doodles, kind of more of an advanced style, and she likes to do a lot more stickers and a little bit more beginner friendly. So it's a really great way to see how two different people can interpret a theme, each with kind of their own different styles. So I'm excited to show you what I have, and if you're interested to see what her spreads looked like, I'll link her channel down below. Be sure to check her out. You can see here for my dog theme, I decided to do a whole different collage of dogs on my cover page. This month my style is a little bit different from what I typically do. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you know that I usually take my Micron Pigma pen and outline all of my doodles. But for this style, I didn't want to do that because I really wanted to kind of make the dogs look a little bit more natural and lifelike rather than kind of outlined. And so what I decided to do was I went straight from my sketches in pencil to adding in color. And I used a lot more colors than I normally do, which you probably saw at the beginning. Normally I stick to about 6 to 8, and this month I had almost 15. And I did that because I wanted to have lots of different grays, gray tones and brown tones to be able to add a lot of detail to these dogs. And so you can see I went dog by dog, kind of incorporating all of those details. It was really fun to kind of do this, and it went so much faster than it normally does for me because it takes forever to outline everything and then to go back and color it. So this was a really fun, different way for me to try. I don't know if it's my typical style. I really like how I normally do it, but it was a really fun opportunity to try something new and different. In addition to always wanting to do a dog theme, if you've seen any of my Instagram stories in the past couple months, you know that my fiance and I recently adopted a black lab puppy, and so I really was super excited to do this theme just because I now have a dog in my life. I have always had dogs, in my life when I was living at home, and we finally decided it was the perfect time for us to get a dog. We had lived in an apartment that previously didn't allow dogs, and we moved, and now we can have a dog. So it's been a really great addition. His name is Gus. I'll add a picture in here so you can see what he looks like. We got him at 8 weeks, and he is almost 4 months now. We love him so much. Anyway, so I'm a big dog person, so this was a great theme for me. You can see for back to my cover page here, you can see for my font I decided to do kind of a block lettering just because I really wanted the dogs and all their detail to stand out. I love how they turned out, and they were all super fun to do. Now moving on to my monthly calendar overview. If you've watched any of my previous Plan With Me videos, you know that I like to do a very small monthly calendar setup, just because I only use it for big important dates throughout the month, and I do most of my actual planning on my weekly spreads. For this theme, I was super excited to do a lot of fun dog doodles, incorporating things like paw prints, as you can see there, and the fire hydrant, and my doghouse. You can see I took my black Pigma pen and outlined all those doodles. So this is kind of more the typical style that I normally do for those of you who haven't seen any of my other videos. Now I'm going in and adding in color. Like I mentioned before, I have a lot more colors than I typically do for my color palettes, but it was just so I could have more colors and more variants of each of those colors, like the grays and the browns, to add all those details into my dogs. When doing my other little doodles throughout the month, I really tried to stick to just a couple of the bright colors that I had picked out. Now I'm going in and adding in the dates onto my calendar, and there's my completed monthly calendar overview. I really love how this page turned out. This theme is just so wonderful. I'm so happy that we decided to do it. Moving on now to my trackers. I like to set up a mood and habit tracker on the same spread. I really enjoy tracking my mood. I find that it's typically pretty consistent throughout the month, but it's always really fun to create these and add different doodles to fill out throughout the month. You can see I did that block lettering font for my mood up at the top, and then I used one of my little Tombow markers to letter in tracker. For this tracker, I decided to do different size paw prints throughout the month. I thought it was really fun. I know it's kind of like overwhelming because they fill the entire page, but I think they turned out really cute. In addition, I decided to add just a little doghouse down at the bottom, and of course I wrote Gus's name on it, as I will for every doghouse throughout my spreads. So there you can see I've outlined all of the paw prints. Now I'll go in and add just some color just to my doghouse down at the bottom, and then throughout the month I will use the color that matches my mood to fill in those paw prints. I use 4 moods to complete my tracker. One that's like super happy, one that's like a normal day, one that's like a meh, it's okay day, and then a bad day. I find that that is about usually the range that I need to track my moods, and so that works out for me. You can see I'm filling those in now, and that spread is done. These always are super quick just because they get colored in throughout the month. Moving on now to my habit tracker. I really enjoy tracking my habits. I find that it's a really great way to be consistent and also just know if I'm actually performing these habits regularly. I decided to do kind of the backs of a few dogs in a line down at the bottom. I thought they were really cute. I'm such a huge dog person. This is like a theme that I have been wanting to do for so long, so this was a great excuse. Anyway, so for my habits, I like to track each of them individually, so you can see I've added stripes of color and divided my page up for 8 different habits. What I'll do is I'll just write the title of the habit, you can see I did there, and then I'll go in and actually write each date out for the entire month. So when I complete a habit, I'll color in the date that I completed it, and I'll be able to track which habits I'm performing consistently. I'm tracking my walking of Gus, drinking my water, taking my vitamins, flossing, eating vegetarian, reading the news, cross-stitching, and performing a hobby. I love how these 2 spreads turned out, and I'm excited to track those habits. Moving on to my next spread, which is my content tracker, and then of course a fun quote. I found this quote on Pinterest. It reads, "You had me at woof." I thought it was really funny and also really accurate. When my fiance and I went to go and adopt Gus, we didn't know we were specifically adopting him. We were going to a rescue to find one that we hopefully was a good fit for us, and he was the first one that they brought to us, and he was so adorable. He was nuzzling the neck of the veterinarian tech who was holding him, and we knew he was just the one for us, and he stole my heart the moment I saw him. So I thought that was a perfect quote. You can see I incorporated some more of those paw prints on this page. I thought that was a really fun motif that I tried to incorporate on each of my spreads. For this content tracker, I also decided to add a fun collage of dog miscellaneous items, including some toys, a leash, some treats, and bones. My content tracker is used to help me keep track of my posts on Instagram and YouTube. I find it really helps me stay on track for what I'm supposed to be posting. And it's just a really great way to know how consistently I am posting on all my social media platforms. I used a bunch of my brighter fun colors to fill in all these fun dog motifs and complete this spread. Down in the corner, you'll also see that I added 2 little trackers, one for Instagram and one for YouTube. This is something new I've recently started to track my following on each of those social media platforms, just as a reference for me to see my growth over the month. You can see I decided to add a border on my quote page because I felt like it was looking just a little bit bare, and add a little bit of an outline to my quote just to make it stand out a little bit more. I really love how this spread turned out, and I love incorporating quotes throughout my monthly setup. They're really fun to create, and I love looking at them throughout the month. Perfect, now we have this spread completed, and you can see it's all done. I'm super excited to fill it out and schedule my post for the month. Moving on now to my final spread setup for this video, which is my 2 lines a day. This is something I started this year in 2021, where I actually write 2 lines every day just of events or things that happened that day. I find it's a really great way to journal and keep track of memories throughout the month. I usually do this in the evening when I'm filling out my habit and mood trackers, so it's kind of really worked well into my bullet journaling routine. I also incorporated a lot of fun dog doodles around the outside and some of those fun paw prints as well. I've always been someone who has really wanted to keep a journal but just couldn't keep up with it throughout the year. It would be like I would start it at the beginning of a new year and I would maybe keep up with it for a month, and then by the 2nd or 3rd month of the year I would not keep up with it. So this is a really low maintenance way for me to try and keep up with some journaling. Now I'm just adding the finishing touches. I like to color every other day just so it's easier for me to keep track of where I'm supposed to be filling it out. And then the last touch is actually going in and adding the dates. I add the day of the week and the date as well, just to make sure I'm filling out the right date. And there you have my completed 2 lines a day. I love how this spread turned out as well. I really enjoyed using these fun bright colors with all of the muted browns and blacks. Alright, let's take a quick flip through. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I had so much fun creating all these spreads with this dog theme. Don't forget to check out my friend Brandi's spreads as well. I'll link her accounts down below. It's so fun to be able to do this collaboration with her and see her own interpretation of this fun dog theme. If you liked this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to hit subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Happy doodling!